USA. Come on. Let's go away. Come on. Let's go away. This is your crew chief. The course is really tough. Body top, beautiful night. So go back. Daytona. Let's go away. Daytona. Daytona. Let's go away. Come on. Daytona. And they're on the way. Yes, we're on the way. Body top, beautiful night. You're hot. Daytona. You fall the right behind. Trigger make a hole through there. You wobble over the truck. Let's see some control. Down the crush. Coming down on the tree. Better hurt yourself. Hey, are you right? Somebody coming up behind you. Come on. You're running out the tires, baby. Great driving, yeah. Wow. All right. Have a blast, man. Have a blast. Yeah. Also, was me. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah.
Ah, good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome, Takenobu-san. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, wherever you're at. Najumu here, and welcome to another episode of inSAIght. And this time, we're going to focus on, instead of a certain type of media, we're going to focus on a certain type of person. And this time we're going to be talking about legendary Sega composer Takenobu Mitsuyoshi-san. So, initially, from what you've heard in the intro, this was the breakout song for him. That was Let's Go Away from Daytona, USA. To be specific, this version is the one that was used to promote the HD re-release of Daytona USA that was on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. So, if you want to watch him actually perform it behind the studio in the recording studio, I've also posted a link in the credits. I mean, not in the credits, in the description of the stream, so you can manage to check it out. I also time-stamped it as well. But yeah, today's order of business is I will be talking about Takenobu-san himself, a little bit about his history, how I managed to experience his music for the very first time, and honestly, to be surprised, I didn't know who he was until I got to the age of the internet, right? I feel a little embarrassed, but you know, the more you know, you get to learn a lot, especially when you're experienced with stuff on the internet. And then we're going to listen to a bunch of his songs. I've managed to pick a nice variety of songs that either he composed or he sang the vocals for it. Some of these songs he did not compose, but he did sing the vocals for it. And, you know, once you get to hear him, and I think some of you managed to hear him in the beginning of the loading screen, he's got some powerful vocals. He has got some powerful vocals. But yeah, that's going to be the order of business for today's show. So let's start, first and foremost, a bit of an introduction. So, you might be curious, who is Takenobu Mitsuyoshi? Who is that guy? Well, Takenobu Mitsuyoshi has been a video game composer born in 1967 and was employed at Sega in the early 1990s, right? His first ever composition was composing for games like G-Lock Air Battle, GP Rider, and Strike Fighter. These were all arcade games that were released on the Sega's own Y and X boards. They're not familiar to a lot of us nowadays, but they are kind of nostalgic to those who grew up in this era. Eventually, though, he managed to get his footing with the AM2 department, who are responsible for games like Virtua Fighter, Virtua Striker, and of course, most importantly, Daytona USA. That's where everyone got to know him. And funny thing about Daytona USA, while it was a licensed game based off of the brand, of the US brand of cars, and of course the racing championship, everyone managed to recognize the brand a lot more, especially when it comes to video games, once they played the console version of Daytona USA on the Saturn. And that's how I got to hear his vocals for the first time. And apparently he did all of the music composition. He did all of the lyrics for the vocals, everything. All of the songs in Daytona USA are in English. So I was a little bit surprised when I played Daytona USA a while back, once I had my Sega Saturn. I was wondering, man, who is this guy who's singing with such vigor? And wow, this guy is awesome. He may be not speaking like a fluent American accent or a British accent, but all of the passion he has. And in a little bit, we're going to listen to the arranged version of Let's Go Away that was on the Saturn version of the game. There is also an arcade-only OST, which is, of course, it was good, though. It was good, but, you know, Mitsuyoshi had a lot more power when it came to developing the arranged tracks for the console version. And it's not something that's new to gaming, especially back in the 90s. Back in the 90s, a lot of games used to have arranged soundtracks for the console release. Another one on the top of my mind, which is not related to Sega, it's Capcom when it came to the Street Fighter Alpha games. Especially when it comes to Alpha 2. Alpha 2 already had a very cool OST. I mean, it was okay, but it got so much better with the console version. But yeah, Mitsuyoshi-san has been cooking a lot of songs, has been part of a lot of vocals throughout his tenor at Sega, and he's still at Sega, thankfully. Though he may not compose like full games like he did before, he's still composing a few songs, and some might be a little bit surprising to some of you guys. You might be wondering, what is this? Is this really a Takenobu Mitsuyoshi composition? And I say yes, it is. It 100% is. But yeah, man, talking about Daytona USA. Daytona USA was probably one of the few racing games that I still remember to this day. When it comes to racing games, my preferred kind of racing game is usually the ones that involve a lot of car destruction, vehicular destruction, you know? Not exactly Twisted Metal, but something like Destruction Derby or Burnout, or a more modern example, it's Wreckfest. But with Daytona USA, it's, you know, the classic racing game. It was pretty much the rival to Ridge Racer that was released by Namco. And I thought like the visuals that they had for it was pretty stellar, right? It was like a new era of 3D gaming that we had. And honestly felt like the music that Takenobu-san has contributed to the soundtrack, not just with Let's Go Away, but also with other songs like, which we're also going to hear, is Sky High. Yeah. It's honestly a classic. The whole OST as a whole is a classic. And honestly, I feel like it can stand very much the test of time. It can still very much stand the test of time when it comes to some of the greatest, some of the greatest soundtracks out there. A lot of people would probably argue about it and say, "Oh man, come on! You're letting a racing game be part of like the greatest soundtracks of all time." And I say, yes, I totally am. I totally am putting a racing game in there. But yeah, I've only managed to learn about him and his, recognize his name once I actually played Phantasy Star Online 2. Yeah, it took a long time to recognize who he is. And the fun fact is, regarding Phantasy Star Online 2, he has a special song for it too. There is like a special event in PSO 2 where you get to attend a concert. And if you attend the concert, you get like certain buffs for a good while before you go on to quests in the game. But yeah, he was actually part of this in-game concert, and he has a special song for it. I'm not sure if I'm going to post the song later in our songs that we're going to listen to, but it's out there. It's out there, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And here's another interesting thing about Takenobu-san. He's not just only a music composer. He is not just only a singer. He is also a voice actor. Yeah. And while his realm of voice acting is just within Sega's games, but there is one character whom I think a lot of people would already recognize and are quite familiar with compared to the other characters he voiced. And that is Kage from Virtua Fighter. He voiced Kage from Virtua Fighter since the beginning, since VF1 and up until this day. And hopefully, he'll be back for VF6 as well. In a little bit, we're going to check a nice little video of his win poses and intro quotes from Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown that has been uploaded by That's Fighting Lore. I credited them in the description. We're going to take a look and we're going to listen and see how this multi-talented man gave the ninja a very, how can I say this? A very fitting voice, to say the least. Also, another fun fact, Takenobu-san also voiced another famous Virtua Fighter character, and that's Akira. But that's just only for Virtua Fighter 1. Eventually, with Virtua Fighter 2 and onwards, I think it's because of the anime as well, but Miki Shinichiro was the one who started to voice Akira since VF2 onwards. A pretty veteran VA, and I think a lot of people recognize him as many characters out there. But I honestly feel that's a piece of Sega history, or cool piece of Mitsuyoshi-san's history. All right, so let's move to another room right here. All right, we're gonna play a bit of Kage's video about these intros and losses. You're gonna see how the man manages to voice the very versatile ninja. All right, here we go.
はがくれ流柔術影丸参る参る早きこと風のごとし
And watching this again really gives me hope that VF6 is coming soon.
因果応報なりナムで我が道に負けなどない少子千番
Also included in the video are some funny item win poses. You're gonna see how funny they are.
木を見て瓶なり貴様はそのまま
He doesn't use the swords in battle, by the way.
さらばこれぞ葉がくれ流
He's out of here.
ご無礼
He still does the pose perfectly.
修行が足りん精進すべし
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much how he has been voicing the character ever since I think ever since VF3. In VF1 and VF2, he was just sounding a little bit like, you know, not too used to being in the recording booth, right? He's not too used to being in the recording booth, but since VF3 and onwards, yeah, he's gotten too used to the character. But yeah, all right, now let's go on to the main event. I know you guys might have been looking forward to this one a lot, but here we go. Let me just get the title here. Part 2. Let's listen. Music. Okay, right. Here we go. Let's listen to some music. All right. So, like I mentioned earlier, we have to start things with the obvious classic, Daytona USA. And we're going to be listening to the arranged version of Let's Go Away that was on the Sega Saturn, right? So just let me get the audio ready. Just a moment, guys. There we go. All right. Should be ready. All right. We're gonna start a little bit of a countdown. So that everyone would be ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, this part is going to be super funky. Yeah, you can feel the energy, especially when it comes to the do. Here we go. Here comes the melody. Okay, so that was Let's Go Away, the song that managed to catapult Takenobu-san to popularity, but especially when it comes to people who enjoy video game music. As you can see, the instrument play, the vocals, the catchy lyrics. It's not too complicated. It's not too complicated with the lyrics. It's just like Daytona, let's go away, and then he does the dudes in the middle of the song. Yeah, very easy, very catchy to listen to, and yeah, hopefully you know why a lot of people love it so much, including myself. All right, so right after Daytona USA, one of his like biggest hits, I'm gonna go for something a little bit different, right? I'm gonna go for something a little bit different this time. I'm going to listen to one of his earlier compositions, and that's for Virtual Racing. So, a lot of people are familiar with Virtua Racing as a very early 3D racing game that was on the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, and eventually on the 32X, which barely lived compared to its console predecessor. However, it like a lot of other Sega's games, started as an arcade game. And Takenobu-san was the person who composed most of the music in it. So right now, we're going to listen to one of the tracks in that game. It sounds a little early, like it doesn't sound like advanced as you think it might be compared to his other songs. But it's a piece of his history with Sega, and it'd be like a good idea to actually listen to it too. So the track we're going to listen to here is the Course Select. So basically, from what I remember, it's been a long while since I played Virtua Racing, but you have the choice of 3 courses in which you can go through, either easy, normal, or hard. That's also familiar with most of Sega's racing games. And I believe it's the same here with Virtua Racing. So, we're going to be listening to Course Select from Virtua Racing in 3, 2, 1, go. Here come the synth guitars. Doesn't seem to be as fast-paced as you think it might be, but it certainly does get you a little bit pumped when you want to pick a course. Hey, so that was the course select track from Virtua Racing. Again, it's one of Takenobu-san's earlier works, but it does give you that sense like, yeah, you're really getting into the race. You feel like you're ready in order to take your car and go into the driveway. Especially when it comes to like first time 3D experiences. Like when you see right there the cabinet. You see that right there with the cabinet, you either sit down on a single player one or sit down on a 2-player one. And you get to hear that music blaring out in the arcades. Yeah, it'll get you pumped up in order to play some racing games. It will for me. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next track. So this track is going to be a little bit different. So I did mention earlier that Takenobu-san was part of Virtua Fighter when it comes to composing a lot of its soundtracks with other members of Sega's music team. However, like I mentioned, in the 90s, there used to be a kind of a surge when it comes to having arranged music of arcade games. But now, there is also a trend of having arranged music, but with vocals. And that is what the next song that we're going to listen is going to be. This is from the Virtua Fighter Sega Saturn Image by Universe. It's called Neo Rising, right? It's based off the Saturn release of the original Virtua Fighter. But here's the thing now. There are vocals to the songs. Yeah, there are vocals to the songs, like I mentioned earlier. And the one that we're going to listen to, and which Takenobu-san sang, was The Strongest Warrior, which is a arranged version of Poster Boy Akira's theme. So let me set up the song right now so we can listen to some of his more, let's say, Japanese singing. Because we, like earlier on, we heard him sing in English, but he manages to flex himself. He flexes his vocal cords a little bit harder when singing in his mother tongue. So, anyway, we're going to be listening to Akira's arranged theme on this album in 3, 2, 1, go.
「
This will definitely pump you up when you listen to it. Oh man, the voices in the background. Oh, he is having fun with this song. And the guitar is killing it. Ooh. Oh man, what can I say about this song? What can I even say about this song? While I did mention that it is a remix of Akira's theme, in the lyrics, Takenobu-san manages to mention all of the playable characters who were present in Virtua Fighter 1. Man, what can I say? This is amazing vocals, the music, the guitar solo, the funny sound effects that happened right in the climax of the song. Damn. Yeah. Some of these arranged albums are very, very rare to find nowadays. So it's pretty lucky that I managed to find it in, like, someone uploaded it on YouTube. Sadly, I don't think this song is available in any of the 2 albums that he has available on current music services. But yeah, this is a very, very awesome song, and probably one of the like highlights of this album. So if you ever wanted to listen to more vocal versions of the Virtua Fighter soundtrack, it's available. It's available, but you have to look a little bit hard in order to find it. Maybe it's on eBay. All right, after this one, we are going to go a little bit chill. Literally, right? I'm going to go a little bit chill. Because for the next game, I'm going to go for Sonic the Fighter's OST. Yeah, he had a part of that game's soundtrack too. So what is Sonic the Fighters? Well, it's basically a 3D fighting game of Sonic and his friends. Well, back in the day, there has been a small competitive scene that has been slowly making its presence, especially in the Western Hemisphere these past few years. I remember I posted on Twitter a few weeks back about a very long form documentary that talks about the competitive side of Sonic the Fighters. It may not be the most balanced game out there, but it's pretty impressive that some people are still playing this to this day. And they're playing on the re-release on the PlayStation 3. There was like a Sega Archives, a set of games that were released that included Virtua Fighter 2, it included Fighting Vipers, and of course, Sonic the Fighters. Takenobu-san did not contribute to the entire soundtrack, but he did do the song for Bark. You see that right there, that polar bear up there? He's called Bark the polar bear. I don't know why he's called Bark when bears don't bark at all, but you know, Sega has some unique naming. Like, you know, this weasel over there, his name is Fang the Weasel. I guess he has a massive fang, so I guess we'll go for that. And this right up there, this duck right up there, his name is I think his name is Bean? It's been a while since I played this game. But also, fun fact, these two characters, Bark and Bean, they never showed up in any other game outside of Fighters Megamix. That's it. They don't show in any other Sonic game outside of this game and Fighters Megamix, which is a collection of almost all of the fighting game characters that AM2 managed to make in the mid-90s, just meshed up into one fighting game. All right, so we'll be listening to Bark's theme right now, and it's called Aurora Icefield, Black Bed. So, we'll count until 3 before we start listening to the song. In 3, 2, 1, go. You can recognize a little bit of Takenobu's composition when you listen to the synth and the beats, because it's very familiar to his work in Virtua Fighter. Okay. Not as bombastic as the previous song that we listened to. A little more on the gamey side. And like I mentioned, it has some of that Virtua Fighter feel when it comes to the song. And it makes sense because, you know, AM2 are the same developers who worked on both this game and on Virtua Fighter. So it's nice to hear this kind of music in a game that is focused on Sonic the Hedgehog. But yeah, a little more gamey here. But for this next one, this is also a very popular song, the next coming one, and also is a little less recognizable compared to Daytona USA, but still pretty popular if you ask the dedicated Sega fans. And that is for Burning Rangers. More specifically, the Japanese version of Burning Rangers. Unfortunately, this song did not make it to the US version of Burning Rangers. And before we continue, people might be wondering, what the heck is a Burning Ranger? So it's pretty much an action game, an action platformer. Like we call it an action platformer? I think it might be called an action platformer that came out on the Sega Saturn in 1998. And I think it's probably one of its kind, basically, because, yeah, you rarely find a game where you have to play as firefighters, right? Especially when it comes to a futuristic setting. This game was developed by Sonic Team, the same people who are still working on Sonic the Hedgehog games. But a lot of people say that it's one of the, what would we say, top 10 games that people should play if they ever get a Sega Saturn. And a good part of that comes from not just the gameplay, but from the hype theme song that, again, sadly was just in the Japanese version of the game. But anyway, we're gonna try to listen to it right now, and maybe you guys will see why it's very hype. Just a moment, let's prepare the song. Here we go. And here we go. All right. Now listen to Burning Hearts in 3, 2, 1, go.
古代から受け継いだ進化に
He's gonna throw in a bit of the English in there. Here comes the sax. What can I even say about this? What can I even say about this? The lyrics, even the little bit of English in there, the solo saxophone, everything just flows so well. The music flows so well with his vocals, and it gives this sense of energy. Like, it gives you so much energy. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna go to the next fire department. I'm gonna grab a fire truck and just go out there and douse all the flames in the city as best as I can. That's how much Burning Hearts does to a person. It truly is probably one of the most classic Sega songs. I think it's one of Takenobu-san's best, alongside, you know, his other amazing works, including Let's Go Away from Daytona. Whew. All right. Let's go for something a little bit different this time. For this next one is a weird one, to say the least, and it's really, really fun. So this one is a song that he only did one of the musical instruments in it and the vocals, right? So for this one, this right here, this game is a super underrated DS game that's a sequel to another underrated Sega Genesis title. And this one is called, in English, it's called The Rub Rabbits. Yeah. Don't ask me why it's called The Rub Rabbits. And that's the localization and how they managed to bring the game to the West. But in the Japanese version, it's called Akachan wa doku kara kuru no? Or Where Do the Babies Come From? Yeah. So basically this weird series has you trying to woo a girl, right? In the first game, Feel the Magic XXYY, you are basically, you are basically set in order to try to impress a girl in a series of mini games, right? And then we have like some certain people who are called the Rub Rabbits. That's where the name comes from. I don't know why they're still called the Rub Rabbits, but you know, mid 2000s to early 2000s Sega was certainly a certain period of time for them. And of course, it uses the DS touchscreen, which is why it's basically called the Rub Rabbits. The sequel is called the Rub Rabbits. And then in the sequel of the game, eventually in the sequel of the game, which is Akachan wa doku kara kuru no? It basically continues the story from the first game. Okay? it basically continues the story from the first game. You now finally manage to hook up with your girl, and you now manage to find your love interest interested in you, but you now have an antagonist that comes in the way, right? The antagonist is the one that you have to stop in order for the main character to hang out with his girlfriend. But do they actually make babies in the end of the song, in the end of the game? I don't know. It's been a long while since I played this game. But without further ado, I don't want to take too much time explaining a weird-ass game like this. You have to play it yourself in order to see how this game works. So we're going to be listening to the song that's named after the game itself, which is Where Do Babies Come From? Or Akachan wa Doku Kara Kuru no? In 3, 2, 1, go.
赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんは赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんは生まれたあの日のこと生まれて初めてこの世に出てきた僕たちは忘れてる覚えてないよ生まれたあの日のことは生まれて初めてこの世に出てきたパパママに聞いてみよう教えてもらおう愛ちゃんはどこから来たのいおちゃんはどこから来たの梅ちゃんはどこから来たのえみちゃんはかよちゃんはどこから来たのきくちゃんはどこから来たのくみちゃんはどこから来たのけいちゃんはどうせとわには生きられないこの定め誰も一緒さ命与えてくれた人を大切になさいできるだけどうせとわには寄り添えないこの定め誰も一緒さ損得抜きで愛をくれる母さん父さんありがとうさよちゃんはどこから来たのしずちゃんはどこから来たのすみちゃんはどこから来たのせいちゃんはたえちゃんはどこから来たのちえちゃんはどこから来たのつるちゃんはどこから来たのけいちゃんはどうせ定めは変えられない時間は意外と少ない命与えてくれた人に笑顔見せましょうできるだけ生まれてた意味生きる意味は意外と身近にあるのさ今度の誕生日には言おう母さん父さんありがとう小さな命に飛び出した仲間と共に競い合った闇を何も抜けていった小さな命で食い合ったこのまま二つとなり合った一つになって一人になったオッケー盛り上がってるかいそれじゃあ赤の5一文字
You can tell he's having so much fun singing this song.
Okay, repeat after me quickly. A, K, A, and D, and O, も全ての人も母さんの中にいたつながっていた新しく生まれる命父さんも初めだけ手伝いました赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんは赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんはどこから来るの赤ちゃんは
Oh my god. All right, here's a funny thing I want to admit. The first time I actually heard of this song was not from playing the Japanese version of the Rub Rabbits. It was when I was playing PSO2. And it was, I think there was an Easter event. Yeah, there are usually like quests in PSO2 that are specific for a certain celebration or a certain event. And during one of the Easter events, this song was played. And once I heard that song, it was like so weird. Why is this song playing while I'm playing PSO2? What the heck? And eventually I managed to search around and find that it was originally from the Rub Rabbits. The thing is, we didn't know about it because, yeah, it was never in the American release or the European release. Yeah, so it's honestly good to know that at least this piece of history from Sega is still around. Maybe in other games, but it's still around. I don't think we're going to see like a remake of Field of Magic XXYY or the Rub Rabbits anytime soon, but you know, they were pretty neat for the time. And of course, Takenobu-san also provided his vocal chops for the title songs for both games. Anyway, let's go back to something a little more video gamey, right? Let's go for something a little more video gamey. And surprise, surprise, it's going to be another racing game. And that's Sega Rally Championship. Sega Rally Championship was originally an arcade game, and I believe also came to the Saturn in 1995. It's probably a lot less popular than Daytona USA, but Takenobu-san did work on all of the game's soundtrack and also gave us this classic line. Now I'm gonna show you guys once you listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it for the, and then you'll recognize, because you heard it in like several times in like memes on YouTube, but here it is. That was him. That was him. Yeah. You probably figured it out once you like heard of Daytona and then you played like games like Sega Rally Championship and then you hear the game over, yeah. And that's him. However, the track we're going to listen to right now is Conditioned Reflex. It's one of the tracks in the game. It's called Conditioned Reflex, and we're going to listen to it in 3, 2, 1, go. Already rocking hard with the guitar. guitar is pretty much king in this song. Excuse me, is this really the song for a racing game? Is this really a song for a racing game? Because wow, this could almost be like a song for like an RPG boss fight or a fighting game boss fight. Man, I mentioned in the song that the guitar was king, but that climax, holy crap. Yeah, that climax is amazing. A climax is amazing to say the least. Right at the end of the song, where he goes ham with the guitar and the how the song progresses so rapidly. It gives you that sense of urgency, but it's for a game that is just about simulated racing. And a rally game, no less. I mean, I don't mind rally games. Rally games are pretty cool, but you didn't have to go too hard, Takenobu-san. You didn't have to go too hard. But yeah, it goes to show you that once he does his If he wants to do his job, he is going to bring not just his A game, but his S game as well. His S tier game. All right. After this, we're going to move to another vocal album related to Virtua Fighter. And this time it's for Virtua Fighter 2. As you can see right here, it's called Dancing Shadows. And once again, we're going to listen to Akira's theme in that game. Of course, rearranged and sung once again by Takenobu-san. And the interesting thing is its name, right? The name is, in English, it's called Summer Tempest, right? It's called in English Summer Tempest, but in Japanese, it's also called Natsu no Arashi. Which, if you might think this might sound familiar, but it has no relation to the manga with the same name. That also had an anime by Shaft. It has nothing to do with it, but I found it pretty cool to see that this name was used in two forms of media, right? I think it's pretty cool. But anyway, we're going to listen to Natsu no Arashi, aka Summer Tempest. Let me put the song up. And we're going to listen to it in 3, 2, 1, go. Another song that focuses on the guitar. This is a song you could totally hear as an opening theme. Solo, so beautiful. now you can understand why they used to make so many arranged albums from older games. Okay, when you listen to that, if you're not familiar with Virtua Fighter, what is this? This song is totally for an anime opening, right? Or for an anime ending too. But no, it's just an arranged version of a theme from a fighting game. And yeah, what can I say about this song that I didn't say about his previous songs? Vocals, truly amazing, truly gives you that energy in order to do, like, I don't know, play Virtua Fighter, I guess. And of course, the guitar solo. I'm pretty sure, like, he didn't do the instrumentals in this, but I wouldn't be surprised if he can do the instrumentals, because the previous song that we heard from Sega Rally Championship, it shows, like, this man can, like, shred that guitar to pieces. God damn. But yeah, this is, well, yet more proof at why Takenobu-san is such an amazing singer. All right, now it's time for another curveball, right? Another curveball. Now, I think you guys might be a little bit surprised of where we might be going up next, right? So next up we have Sonic Superstars. Yeah, he actually contributed a song to the Sonic Superstars OST. Yeah, and alongside a lot of other Sega composers like Jun Tsunoe and guest composers like T. Lopez. The soundtrack has been a little bit of a mixed bag, especially when it comes to some of the tracks that use the Sega Genesis synth. And that's something that Jun Tsunoe has been using most of the time. But I think overall the Sonic Superstars soundtrack is pretty cool. But this track that we're going to focus on is called Zap Scrap. This is called Zap Scrap. And it's not a very long track, but it's just to show you that, yeah, he's still around Sega. He's still composing some music, just like he did back in the early 90s. So we're going to listen to it in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so maybe this song is not a little too, like, hard rock like the previous songs that we listened to, but it is still a good usage of the Sega Genesis synth that well, Jun Tsunoe likes to use a lot, and, well, it came to mixed results, but what Takenobu-san did when it comes to this song, he made it, like, pretty catchy. Right? This is a pretty catchy song, pretty short, very gamey, and very fitting to Sonic the Hedgehog. it doesn't go really hard as you expect it to be, like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, it's a nice track, and it's more proof that, you know, the man still got it. Yeah, he still got it. Alrighty, now we're gonna move back one more time. To Daytona, USA. I'm gonna go back to Daytona, USA one more time. Let's back here. Ooh. Bring back Daytona, USA. And there it is. And we're gonna listen to another of his famous songs from this game, and that's Sky High. Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of you might be familiar with it once you listen to it. And we're going to do that in 3, 2, 1, go. And that intro, it already tries to pump you up.
I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together. I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together. I wanna. I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together. I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together. I wanna. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, flying high, feeling good. Blue, blue skies, I see. Blue, blue skies, I see. Blue, blue skies, I see. I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together. I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together. I wanna.
You just want to fly sky high, man.
I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together. I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together. I wanna. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, flying high, feeling good. Blue, blue skies, I see. Blue, blue skies, I see. Blue, blue skies, I see. I wanna.
This part is pretty funky. All right, that was Sky High from the Daytona USA OST, to be specific, the arranged soundtrack that was available on the Saturn version of the game. And yeah, well, what else can we say about Sky High? Sky High is another song that fits with Daytona's aesthetic. It's not, it's pretty much like gives you the vibes of Let's Go Away, but it's in a more, how can I say this, tropical sense? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? We say it's a little bit tropical when it comes to the music compared to how like energy inducing Let's Go Away is when you get to listen to it. But yeah, again, like I said, I could sit all day and just like talk about the entire Daytona USA soundtrack and it still wouldn't give it justice. All right, so last but not least, we can't talk about Takenobu-san without talking about his medley for F-Zero that he made for Smash Bros. Ultimate. So, this is not the first rendezvous with Sega and the popular Nintendo racing game, because some of you might remember a little game known as F-Zero GX. And I think there was an arcade version with a different name. I think it was called AX, I believe. It's different from the GameCube version, which was GX. But regardless, Sega was the one who developed this F-Zero title. Beloved title by everyone, and many people to this day pray for the game to come back on the Switch in some form or shape, be it the GameCube version or the arcade version. But yeah, maybe someday. But for now, we have F-Zero 99, for better or for worse. I played a little bit of F-Zero 99, and I actually kind of like it. It's pretty fun. I'm kind of garble at it, but you know, it's pretty fun. But I would love to see like an actual 3D F-Zero game come in the future. Who knows when it's going to happen? Who knows? Maybe if F-Zero 99 is a bit of a success, that they may consider, you know, let's bring it back. Yeah, maybe we'll bring back F-Zero X on the Nintendo Online service for the Nintendo 64. I'm not sure if it's already there, but I'm pretty sure that it isn't. Please prove me wrong if anyone wants to mention that in the comments. But yeah, we're going to be listening to the medley that Takenobu-san has worked on for Smash Bros. Ultimate in a little bit, just a moment. All right, we're going to start listening to it in 3, 2, 1, go. This is already telling you that this is an F-Zero song. There's something interesting regarding the lyrics that we're going to talk right after the song is done. Yeah, so this song is pretty much the ultimate love letter to the original F-Zero. Because when he did say it's an F-Zero medley, he meant it. So it has some elements of Deathwind, Firefield, Port Town, a little dash of Mute City, and a little bit of the percussion from Red Canyon as well. And even when it comes to lyrics, like in the comments in one of the videos related to it, it mentions that all of the lyrics are pretty much references to tracks in the SNES game, in the original SNES games. Like this comment here from Rebirth Phoenix mentioned, like in the lyrics there is something like stunning skyscrapers, which refers to Mute City 1. And for example, endless horizons above sea and deserts, which refers both to Bleak Blue and Sand Ocean. So, yeah, there's quite a lot of effort when it came to making this medley. And, you know, as usual, like, who better than the guy who gave us the many, many musical compositions from games like Daytona USA and Sega Rally Championship. Yeah, definitely a banger to listen to. And once you understand the lyrics and take a little deep dive, you'll understand, like, especially if you're an F-Zero fan, how much of a love letter this song is. Yeah, I guess that is it for the songs. We managed to listen to, let's see, how many songs did we listen to today? We managed to listen to around 11 songs. And let's not forget the 12th song at the beginning, which is the Let's Go Away H version for the HD re-release of Daytona USA on the 360 and the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, sorry, the PlayStation 3. All right, let's move rooms. We are back here. All right, let's fix this title here. And I'm gonna go for, let's fix this. This is now part 3, and this is the conclusion to today's inSAIght stream. Well, I have to say, once again, thank you everyone for coming to the stream either live or via the archives. I hope this gives you a bit of an idea on what Takenobu-san did and contribute to the video game music industry, and maybe you'll also get to listen and enjoy more of his songs too. And speaking of which, if you check the description to this very stream, you will find links to two of his albums, right? Two of his digital albums, digital version of his albums, right? The purchasable version of the album, unfortunately, is not so easy to find. You'll only find it via Amazon of Japan, which might be a little bit difficult, unfortunately. But there are like the digital versions for his Loud to Low albums. He has one which is called Volume 1, and the other one is called Loud to Low Sun. You can check it out in Apple Music or Spotify or Amazon Music. You check the links down at the bottom if you want to listen to more of his best of songs. And some of the songs that we listen to here, like Let's Go Away and Natsu no Arashi, which is the VF2 Akira range, and Akachan wa Doku. Sorry, Akachan wa Doku kara kuru no. Yeah, that's a mouthful of a name. I'm sorry. I need to remember that properly. Yeah. A lot of these songs that we listened to today are available in these two albums. So if you have any one of these music services, you can listen to it and appreciate a little bit more of his music. So anyway, once again, thank you everyone for coming today. And I really hope you enjoyed the stream. I really hope that YouTube doesn't kick my ass, because we played a lot of music and we might be potentially in trouble, but I'm not making money out of this. So yeah, it shouldn't be an issue, YouTube. Hopefully. Hopefully. But yeah, what is in the plans? Well, tomorrow, let's see. What will we have for tomorrow? I'll probably play more Street Fighter 6 tomorrow at the usual 5 p.m. GMT time. Yeah. I'll probably release the schedule before or after that. Please check out the usual places if you want to see when the schedule is coming out, either via the YouTube community post or, of course, Twitter. I will never call it X, by the way. But yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. And I hope you all have a great day or great evening. But before I go, we usually have like a mellow song when we get to listen to the outro. But this time, I'm going to listen to another Takenobu Mitsuyoshi song. And this one is called Forever and Ever. And this comes from World Club Championship Football. And that is a card game, an arcade card game that I'm not sure how it functions, actually. I've never been familiar with many of those arcade card games, but probably has a bit of interactivity when it comes to, how can I say this? Maybe like choosing like football players and trying to like play them in an automatic kind of way, depending on the cards that you have. I'm not very familiar with it, but I do like this song, which is also available in the albums that I posted in the description. So I will leave you guys with Forever and Ever. Please take care of yourselves. And yeah, have a great day or evening. Bye-bye.
風と火の歌忘れ